Hi everyone, my name is Amanda Petz. This is my video response 1 for Dr. Junwa's EDU 220 Intro to Special Education. I have him for 2 classes, so I have to make sure I get the right video, so hopefully I do. So this is going to be about the quotes from the videos. I tend to take a lot of notes, which I have in front of me, on the videos and such, so I will try my best to narrow it down to 2 quotes, maybe per video, but again, I tend to take a lot of notes, so we'll see how that goes. So in the first video, the understanding the IEP process, in the beginning, it obviously goes over what IEP stands for, which will be a key term, which IEP is individualized or individual education plan. So that would be the plan for those students who have learning disabilities and who need the IEP, that need a separate educational plan as compared to those in the classroom, in the general education classroom, the gen ed classroom. So the process goes from step 1 being the pre-referral of the IEP all the way to number 7, which is the evaluation and reviews of the IEP at the very end. So in that video, the one thing that did stick out to me a lot was the fact, and this is at 2 minutes and 50 seconds, it talks about depending on the area in which you live and the school district in which you live, that the person who determines or coordinates the assessment of the child who has the IEP or who is getting assessed to see if they need an IEP, it just depends on the school district as to who does it. So it could be a school psychologist, it could be someone who is specialized in special education, or it could just be a teacher. It just depends on the area and the needs of the area and what teachers or what resources are available to the school, because you obviously have to do what you can with what you have. Another thing that I did find pretty interesting with that video was talking about how when the and I knew this from before because I've worked with children in the past, but at 5 minutes and 50 seconds on step number 5 to be exact, it talked about the development of the IEP, and just because a child needs an IEP or multiple children need an IEP does not mean they all have the same exact IEP. They don't all have the exact same plan, because just like every child learns differently. Some people, even adults, like in college, we learn differently. I learn better hands-on. I don't do very well with online school, whereas some of you guys might do very well with online school learning on your own, but people like me, I enjoy being in the classroom. I need hands-on experience. So at 5 minutes and 50 seconds, it was talking about how the IEP team will begin to work with the outline of the individualized educational plan and what the child in particular will need, because student A has this plan does not mean that student B is going to use the same exact plan. It just might not work for those two, and it might work as well. It just depends on the situation and the child, and even what the parents believe is best for their child. So those are just 2 things that stuck out more so for me, that with, again, just working with children, I do know some things already about IEPs, because in the past I have worked with children who have IEPs. And then on the second video, the one that talked about the 6 core principles of IDEA, which IDEA is going to be a key term, and IDEA is Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. In this video, it talks about the 6 cores, and honestly, this whole video I took so many notes on, so it is very hard for me to pinpoint a few quotes, but again, I'm trying to keep this as short as I possibly can. What I found very interesting was the 0 reject, which was talked about at 37 seconds roughly in the video, which is the first core principle, which it talks about how it entitles all students with disabilities, even those in private schools, to a free public education regardless of the nature and severity of the child's disability, to accomplish the zero reject each state has in place. So this is basically saying that regardless of the severity of the disability that the child has, they will not deny them the education that they deserve. Because just like any other child, they deserve the exact same, not the exact same education, but they still deserve an education regardless of the fact that they're disabled. And then another one that did stick out to me too was the non-discriminatory evaluation, which was number 4, and this was discussed at about 3:20 in the video, 3 minutes and 20 seconds in the video. And it says that this law outlines the rights of students and their parents to ensure that only assessment completed is a part of the special educational decision-making process, and that it is unbiased. What I also found pretty interesting about this whole just idea was that no matter what goes on, the parents are always kept in the loop because that is their child. They need to know what is going on at all times with their child. Just like at school, if your kid falls, they need to know. Like at work, we have to write incident reports. We write everything that happens. So when we hand the child back over to the parents, if little Susie has a cut on her knee, we know exactly why little Susie got the cut on her knee. Oh, she was running on the playground and tripped over her foot. We write that down and we give it to the parents. So just similar to that, that's the comparison that I made, was that like regardless of what happens in the classroom, regardless of the testing or any of the classwork that they do and how they are assessed, the parents need to be kept in the loop because that is their child and they need to know what is going on, especially considering the fact that they may be disabled. So, thank you.